So y'all have an interesting story about your second daughter. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, we moved to Plano, and shortly thereafter, decided we wanted to have another baby. So I got pregnant really quick. And a few weeks into my pregnancy, I want to say it was like maybe a 13-week checkup. The nurse called me and said, your daughter has tested positive for markers for Down syndrome.
Oh,
and
they called us on a Friday, like 4, so it was impossible for us to get back with them to find out, hey, wait, what are you guys talking about? So we were left the whole weekend worried as can be, not able to talk to anybody. It was awful.
Yeah. She said, we need to talk. So we need to talk about what that means.
Okay.
So of course I was completely distraught. I was so upset. And we went in and they're like, well, we need to do this type of test and that. I think we did do like a higher resolution ultrasound, which back then they didn't have all the great ones that they do now.
Yes.
So we did one of those, and the doctor said, I can't rule it out. It doesn't look like it. She looks good, but I can't really rule it out. What you really need to do is have an amniocentesis. And I said, well, what would that involve? And he said, well, it involves putting a long needle into your abdomen and taking out some amniotic fluid. And I was like, well, what about the baby? And he's like, well, there is some risk to the baby. And I was like, well, then I don't need to know. I mean, it won't change anything. We want her. We know that the Lord doesn't make mistakes. He will send us exactly the child that we're supposed to have in exactly the condition that we're supposed to have him or her. So we're going to trust the Lord for this journey. And, I think they kind of thought we were weird, which is really sad. But, wow. We trusted the Lord. I did a lot of praying. I tried to prepare. I read some books on Down syndrome. And I just said, Lord, I'm going to trust you. If I have a baby with Down syndrome, that's the baby that you were wanting to send me. And I'm going to trust you. And thank God, Sean is a new Christian, a new believer. He just didn't waver. He was like, yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Did not waver. And, it just really, of course, she was born, she did not have Down syndrome. But had she, it wouldn't have changed a thing. And it grieves my heart because some countries have, quote unquote, eliminated Down syndrome.
Yes.
And the way they eliminate it is by aborting babies with Down syndrome.
Or who they just suspect.
They suspect many times, that it ends up being wrong. And I just think, oh, how horrible. This is such a gift from the Lord. It is just really, really tragic. And, we are so grateful. All 4 of our children are quote unquote healthy, but we trust the Lord for everything. And I was so grateful that my husband, being a new believer, a new Christian, having a very young faith life, was just like rock solid.
It's amazing that you go from just a few years earlier to almost aborting your eldest to a few years after that. Just, no, we're not going to, even if there's a chance that this child has Down syndrome.
I think at that point in my life, I had, in that short stretch, I had already been cemented in me that, Lord, whatever you hand me, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to make the best of whatever you hand me. And I'm going to give the glory to you for it.
That's amazing. That is amazing.